You live at the leading edge of thought, where all thought that has ever been thought before is culminating and expressing further forward. This is the leading edge of that which you call source. And out here on the leading edge, energy moves fast because the billions of you who are here living and asking, and you do that, don't you? Life causes you to know what you don't want, which causes you to know what you do want. So life just causes you to ask and ask and ask and ask. And do you know, every time you ask, we're not just talking about with your words, every time you are in some situation where it is not as you want it to be, and asking emanates from you, and in the moment of that asking, source energy answers, lines up circumstances and events, and a rush of energy moves through a veritable vortex that creates worlds, opens. The energy moves quickly and instantaneously toward the fulfillment of everything you ask for. The question is, are you up to speed with that energy stream? And in these days, we want to say to you, because the stream is moving so fast, if you get a little out of alignment with it, the results show up pretty big and pretty fast, don't they? In other words, a car that's going 100 miles an hour, you're paying more attention than a car that's going 5 miles an hour. And a car that's going 100 miles an hour and hits a tree, much bigger problem than a car that's going 5 miles an hour and hits a tree. Well, friends, welcome to 100-mile-an-hour cars. In other words, this is the time of fast energy, which means this is the time of awakening. This is the time of figuring out what you're doing with the energy. You can't be sloppy with your thinking in an environment where energy is moving so fast. You got to pay attention to your thoughts. But that will make you crazy. Paying attention to your thoughts, monitoring thoughts, you can't even control your kids. Monitoring your thoughts is hopeless. So don't monitor your thoughts. Just put your ear to the ground for the way you feel. And set forth a determination that you want to feel good and that you're going to use the power of your mind, your ability to focus, to find better and better and better and better feeling thoughts. Now, many of you have come to that decision long ago. We heard your New Year's resolutions. Many of you are determined to think more deliberately, to be more deliberately, to focus more on things that you want. But the thing that is a little tricky about that is that when you're in the middle of something that you don't want, and you can't just put a sack over your head, you can't just withdraw from your work or withdraw from your relationship or send your children to a foster home. In other words, you can't just withdraw from where you are and it has your attention. And what we want this gathering to help you come to a resolution about is that your now environment is going to have less of your attention, and where you're going and what you're wanting and how you're feeling is going to have more of your attention. We want you to realize that when something is happening and you feel strong negative emotion, that's not the time to try to find a bright, happy, fluffy thought, because law of attraction is not dealing those out to you right now. When your radio signal is set on 106, you can't hear what's being broadcast from 98.7. The frequencies are too far apart. Because what's been happening in your environment has you focused upon something gone wrong, you can't immediately focus upon my life is perfect in every way. Partly because you've been trained to face reality and to tell it like it is, but also because those frequencies are pretty far apart. We've noticed that if something's happened and you really feel despair, and one of your well-meaning friends comes in love and appreciation and tries to help you, all you do is justify more vehemently why you feel like you do. Their happiness just makes you feel even more like a failure. And their guidance just makes you feel even more like you'd like them to be dead. In other words, nothing's worse than to feel the opposite of who you are and how you want to feel and have some bright-eyed, fluffy person flapping in your face about how you create your own reality. You want to say to them, I'm sure that's not true, or you would be gone from my experience. But when you understand that it's not your job, nor is it even possible to find a really good feeling thought from that bad feeling thought, if you're in despair, revenge feels pretty darn good, doesn't it? Now, many say, we're in the wrong seminar. Thought we were going to hear about love. We just want you to realize that you can't find love from revenge. The frequencies are too far apart. But you can find From despair, you can find revenge, and from revenge, you can find hatred, and from hatred, you can find anger, and from anger, you can find frustration, and from frustration, you can find hope, and from hope, you can find just about anything that you want. But there are some steps along the way, and we think that the reason so many people have given up on any awareness of what their emotions are telling them is because they have not understood the frequency of emotion. Everything that manifests in your life or anybody else's life that you are observing, everything that manifests is nothing more than, and we don't mean to diminish it because it's wonderful what's going on here, but nothing more than the indication of your vibrational countenance. It's an indicator. Manifestations are indicators of what you've been doing vibrationally, period. So if wonderful things are happening, you've got good indications of the good vibrations you've been offering. If things have been out of control in your life, then you've got manifestations that are indications of what you've been offering vibrationally. You don't go to your gas station when your gauge is on empty and lay your head on the steering wheel in utter despair. Oh, look what I've come to. I'd hoped it would last longer. I just couldn't keep it up. It's an indicator. And you know it's only an indicator, so you don't paste a happy face sticker over it because it's depressing to see it, and you don't usually wait until you're completely out of gas and stranded on the side of the road. You fill it up, don't you? You fill it up, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about letting your indicator let you know what your habit of thought has been, and if you're feeling pretty crummy lately, then it's time for a fill-up. If things are sort of not going the way you want them to, it's time to tune up your thoughts. It's time to offer some more deliberate thought. It's time to seek a better attitude. It's time to become more cheerful. But again, we want to say to you, if you're depressed and someone's saying it's time to get more cheerful, we don't really mean it. If you're depressed, what we really want to say to you, it's time for revenge. And we mean that in the nicest way. We want you to realize that it's like you take your rubber raft down to the river's edge, and you, as humans, invariably will turn it upstream and start paddling very hard. And we say, if we were in your rubber raft, we would go with the current. We wouldn't fight the current. And you say, but we must be virtuous. Struggle and hard work, that's what we honor here. Those are the people for whom we make monuments and plaques and really big headstones. And we want you to understand that nothing that you want is upstream, and that every bit of struggle and consternation and determination, all that, I'm going to heal myself, I'm going to make it better, all of that has you focused upstream. We want you to feel the ease of letting go of the struggle. You don't even have to turn your boat around in the stream and begin paddling downstream. Just let go of the oars. The current will turn you. So this workshop really is not about teaching you to go with the stream because you have no choice. You are eternal beings, and who you are has been set into motion for a very long time. This seminar is about asking the question and helping you answer it. Are you going willingly? Are you going toward your natural unfolding willingly? And every time you're mad at somebody, you're going, but you're not going willingly. When you're loving, you're going, and you're going willingly. And you can feel the difference, can't you? When you are a vibrational match to what you're asking for, you feel glorious. The best state of being in all of the universe is to be physically focused, with life having helped you to ask for many things, and the source within you having found vibrational alignment with all that you've asked for, and you be focused in the direction of what you've been asking for, allowing the universe to yield to you through circumstances and events the path for the achievement of all that you are asking for. And you do not need to ever worry about running out of things to want, because contrast will always help you to define more of them. And you do not need to worry about ever not having that feeling of inspiration that is calling you forward, because there will always be that vibrational gap between what life has just helped you to ask for and your achieving of it. We know that you've come forth into this indescribably perfect environment of contrast and variety, so that you can be inspired to your personal preferences and desires, understanding that each desire shoots out of you like a rocket, and that the source within you attaches itself completely to that rocket, and then you have never-ending guidance to let you know where you stand vibrationally in relationship to the rocket you have given birth to. You and the life you're living are the reason your stream is moving as it is, and you and the focus of your thoughts are the reason that you're going or not. So everything about what's happening and everything about how you feel is utterly in your control. But then you say, and we even hear it from Esther from time to time, quite a bit this last month, but Abraham, it's not my fault. It's just standing in her new kitchen, many things having just gone wrong in the new house, saying to us, what were they thinking? We said, she couldn't hear us, we said, this is not a good pattern of thought going on here. Focus upon all of the wonderful things, and there are so many, but Esther was not on that train of thought. She was on the punch list of things to be fixed, which vacillated anywhere between 300 and 500 items. First it was 100, then it was 200, then it was 300, then it was 250, then it was 400, then it was 350. We are exaggerating not at all. And she said to us, Abraham, this cannot be my doing. I'm sure I haven't thought 500 things on the punch list worth of negative thoughts. And in that moment, the microwave made a funny sound, and she turned around and it said, fault 6. And Esther said, see, it's the microwave's fault. What an interesting set of circumstances. We want you to understand that when you are focused upon what is, you must use what is as your point of asking and feel the difference. Now, there's something really good stirring here, because we see you in your physical experiences, and we know that you are living life fully. You are busy bunch. And as you are living life fully, the thing that this emotional scale points out most dramatically is that on one end of it is your perception of empowerment and freedom. That's where all the good feeling emotions are. And on the other end of it is your perception of powerlessness, of not being free. And we want you to feel with us as we are moving through this day that when you are asking a question that is summoning an answer, that feeling of a question is so life-giving. In other words, when you feel free to receive the answer in the question that you are asking, even though the answer has not yet come to you, you feel wonderful. That's how you're wired. That's who you are. But when you focused in a way that you're now asking another question and you doubt that the answer to that question can come, that's paramount to the powerless feeling, the powerless end of the equation. And so we want to help you to understand that with everything that you are living, you are queued up for constant asking for improvement and answers to questions and solutions to problems. It's the way this expanding, never-ending universe works. And if the one small thing that you can gather as a result of us chewing here together today is that every question has an answer, and every problem has a solution, and every answer and solution is right at your fingertips if you could just be solution-oriented and answer-oriented rather than beating the drum of the problem. Then tomorrow, everything not working right on your punch list would begin coming into alignment. You have punch lists of life where there are things that you want to queue up and you want them to be differently. And we want you to understand that you have a team of non-physical and physical beings all queued up, orchestrated, standing ready to do anything and everything that you want, provided you are a vibrational match to it. But no one can buck your current, no matter how cute you are, no matter how sweetly you say the words, and no matter how justified you believe that you are in getting what you want. You got to clean up your vibration. You got to clean up your vibration, which means simply you got to tell a new story. You got to tell the story of your life the way you want it to be, not the way it is. No longer look for sympathy. And you know, if you would stop looking, this is the only thing that we would say to Esther relative to all of this. You can tell her about this later. Point her back to this moment on the recording. Look at the time and tell her to listen back to this, because this is the thing that we most want you to understand. When you are standing in your physical environment and you have turned your punch list over to other mortals, that's where your trouble lies. Do not give your punch list to mortals. Give your punch list to the managers of the universe, because they'll get it for you every single time.